What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having an unbelievable week. It's Justin Jackson here once again. It's Duke week, the greatest rivalry in sports. But first, North Carolina had to take care of a Virginia Tech team in Blacksburg, which they did very handedly. North Carolina went into Blacksburg, walked out of there with a 91-59 victory, where they dominated basically every single statistic, every single aspect of the game. Um, they had five guys finish in double figures, hit a total of 15 threes on 54%, and finished the game shooting about 59% from the field overall. That's three straight games of them shooting 55% or better. When I look at this team, we've talked about it all year long, right? We've talked about the holes, we've talked about the gaps, we've talked about things that need to improve. This North Carolina team is currently on a 6-game win streak where they've won by an average of 18 points. Ever since the Clemson game, where everything kind of seemed like it was, gloomy when it came to their NCAA tournament opportunity. Um, they've really turned the entire season around. They're shooting about 48% from three during that 6-game streak. And they're 5-0 currently with the change in lineup and rotation. I think that's the biggest difference that this team is going to have going into this Duke game this time around. First Duke game, North Carolina was kind of trying to stay above water, it felt like. They would have really good games, they would have some bad games, they would have really good halves and then have bad halves. All of that's kind of changed in the last 6 games. They've gone to a bigger lineup, which I think is going to completely change the look of the game. They've gone extremely hot from the outside, which I think will completely change the way that Duke has to guard this North Carolina team going into this game. Um, and guys are just playing with a totally different confidence. People can look at these last 6 games, the streak that they're on. They can look at the opponents that they've played against and say it's not the strongest of opponents. But I think the one thing that this win streak has really done for this North Carolina team is completely changed their confidence level. I think that Clemson game, you saw the confidence level that was really, really low, it felt like, from a majority of those players on the floor. And now you watch these games, you watch this last Virginia Tech game, and the way that they were celebrating, the way that they were playing, the way they were playing for each other, it felt like nothing could go wrong. And so the confidence level being at the level that it's at right now for this North Carolina team completely changes the look of this game going in against Duke. Now, this Duke team is really good. This Duke team is arguably one of the best teams in the country. They've had some extreme blowouts. They've got some unbelievable players. But in a rivalry that's started in 1920, a 100-year rivalry that has gone back and forth, the greatest rivalry in sports. In my opinion, at this point in the season, being the last game in regular season conference play, the records go out the window. The accolades, the hype goes out the window, besides the fact that it's North Carolina versus that team down the road. Now, this is a very extremely important game for this UNC team. In my opinion, a win against Duke should lock them into the NCAA tournament. If not, they have to go into the ACC tournament and probably at least make it to the championship game, and if not, win it. But why not? Why not go into this game with all the confidence, with the confidence that this North Carolina team has had the last 6 games, with the confidence that these guys are shooting the ball with? You've got guys that are shooting step back threes. You've got guys that are stepping into shots with no hesitation. You've got guys that are just doing everything that they're supposed to be doing to help the team win, right? Against Virginia Tech, you saw a bunch of times it was drive, kick, good to great. Drive, kick, one more. And when the ball is hopping around with that kind of energy and guys are stepping into shots, knocking them down, and guys are also celebrating those guys, knocking those shots down and having success, anything is possible. And I think this North Carolina team has a very, very good opportunity to go in on Saturday and maybe shock some people and walk out with the win.